So what is the best Amazon build? Can there be one clear winner? And what about Strafe and Multishot? Let's find out. So what really is the best Amazon build? Can there be one clear winner? Today I want to answer that question. But first, of course, it's the Javason. It is the clear winner, so if you wanted a quick answer, there you go. You can leave the video now. No, but seriously, the Javason is just superior in so many ways. It has the highest single target damage of any Diablo 2 builds. It has really overall good survival, and if you use the setup in my build that I choose to roll with, you can even have teleport on switch and mana regen with the redemption. It is such an overall great power build, and I would say it's even if not the best build on players 8 and similar. Certain builds are just never gonna be able to clear anything on like players 5 or something. Like right now I'm out here doing some act 1 on hell difficulty players 1 with this bow Amazon. I'm just breezing through it. If this was player 8 I would never even be able to kill the mobs. The only thing this build really can do, even if it's so expensive, it takes so long time to get all the gear and so forth, it can really only do players 1 on hell difficulty. As soon as we're getting up to like players 3 or something like that, the bow Amazon just gets so slow. It's really down to, an unfortunate mechanic with the base damage of bows in general. One example, the Mavina set, I talk about that in recent comments and videos or something like that. That set is actually pretty good, it gives pretty decent stats, but the bow itself ruins it from being any good. The bow is just too low damage, and you end up never gonna be able to perform at any level. The set item is actually pretty good. It gives a lot of good stats, but the bow just ruins it. And I think that in order to the bow Amazon in general to be competitive compared to other Amazon or Amazon builds or even just other builds classes, it needs to have higher damage from the bow. All bows should be buffed by a lot in Diablo 2. That's just my opinion. If somebody disagrees, that's fine, but I can't say that this is a fair thing when we have rune words such as grief that theoretically does like, I don't know, 10,000 sheet damage or whatever. It really needs to be buffed, the bows, cause it just laughable amount of damage. That's kind of the sad truth. But today I also wanted to talk a little bit about Strafe versus Multishot. As you saw in the introduction, it's all about AoE. I can just do a pack here. Now granted, I don't have Strafe maxed out in this build, but still I can at least just show you what I kind of mean. So this is Multishot, right? And this is the Strafe one. Strafe is actually pretty good on a few builds. I actually showed off Strafe in a recent bow Amazon build. The problem with Strafe is that it is single target damage. While yes, it does attack pretty fast, it's single target damage. And you're being locked into the animation, as you can see. When I am throwing out these strafes here, I can't move. And that is just such an unfortunate thing when you are wanting to dodge mechanics such as, I don't know, Diablo's fire or similar. So yes, Strafe is just worse due to that animation lock. It's kind of like the reason why we don't max out Dragon Talent on a assassin. That is the same mechanic where the longer time you're actually kicking in the air, the longer time you're just stuck there not being able to move. And it can be pretty deadly, especially in PvM, where you might want to, be able to move and be flexible. So I think I can also just quickly showcase the build. A lot of people would be happy to know that I actually did end up replacing the bug belt. It's not because it poofed at all and I thought I just was tired of it, not at all. No, but seriously, the bug belt is out and this is the gear that I'm rolling with now. So yeah, you can just quickly see that the gloves are still the... Yeah, no, these are so weird. They don't have any plus skillers, but the rest of the stats are just amazing. So these are a way to get knockback gloves cheaply. And besides, skillers doesn't do a lot. And then the leech ring was needed because there's no leech on the other items, but that's the case with the bow Amazon build at least. it leeches extremely well. There's probably not many other builds in the class that leeches as well as this build for some reason. So even like a 3% mana leech would be plenty to never run out of mana really. And yeah, you can see the cold resistance and poison resistance also helps out a lot, so that's nice. But yeah, the rest of the gear is not really that interesting. It's the standard GMB Faith setup. A lot of people would maybe perhaps go with a faster base for PvM, but I kind of just like this one. So in total, it's 95% increased attack speed that I needed for the fastest breakpoint, and that's really all. I could also mention really fast that yes, it would be quite a bit easier to cap resistance if you used Triverse boots, but these boots here just give so much damage. Even like on Strafe, it's quite a bit. And then I can put on the, let's just see my own keybinds there, Multishot. And you can see that the Multishot is just so amazing difference. It's really, really, yeah, these boots are just so good. It's like 300 plus max damage. Then here at the end, I kind of just wanted to, do a classic standard one-player Chaos run. If there's anything this build can do, it's exactly this content. Massive amount of AoE, mobile and fast movement. This build is probably one of the best Chaos clears. It's really, really exciting to kind of play this build in such a scenario where you are actually able to do some pretty good damage, even compared to other classes. So I guess I could also mention a little bit about Strafe versus Multishot again. Strafe is actually decent enough for single target damage if you max it out, there's no doubt about that. But Guided Arrow is actually a crazy amount of single target damage. And for some reason it does leech pretty well as well. I also prefer to use Lightning or Guided Arrow just because it's so easy to play with. It's kind of fun with it, always just finding the target. I quite like that idea. Hence also the name Guided Arrow obviously, but still I kinda like that. Another thing I also kinda wanted to talk a little bit about was the build. I don't know about you, but certain classes are just so simple to make, where you end up with like maybe 20 to 30 skillers that you don't really want to spend on anything. You just kind of feel like it's a waste. Why even bother? And that's the exact case with this build here for the bow. Now the Yavason, Lightning Fury, etc. It's pretty easy. You're gonna spend all the points on just these 3 alone in the Javelin and Spear skills. But for bow, it's just so random. So in my case, I did maxed Guide Arrow, and then I always just go with 20 arrows into Multishot. I feel like that's plenty. And then it's like, yeah, I'm kind of done, I have all the damage that I want out of the build. Now it's just passive and magic skills. So since I'm not using a Razor Tail build for the Pierce, I'm just gonna max out Pierce. And since I'm using Faith, I get such a massive amount of attack rating that I don't need to make any more points into Penetrate. And then I always just like to put a little bit of points into Critical Strike until the synergy kind of stops giving that much more. And then it's always the old debate about dodge, evade, dodge, avoid, and evade. These skills are kind of hated in community because it's the same thing with Strafe, where the animation locks you out. It can be a bit of a troublesome at certain areas where you might proc it in a lot of scenarios and you're kind of just stun locked. It can definitely be a bit annoying. And then I should definitely also mention that the Valkyrie is always a bit of a heated topic as well. A lot of people don't really care about it, but I like to spend remaining points into Valkyrie and then Decoy to make it even stronger. Decoy by itself is also kind of a good spell. I like to just use it occasionally, so it's a fun little tool because there's not much else to kind of play around with this build. Another thing I also quite hate about the general state of bow Amazons is that they are locked into a few bows. A lot of bows in this game actually have some pretty cool things going for them. I especially like Witch Will String. I think the proc, the amplified damage one, is pretty cool, but because of the low damage on the bow itself, it just kind of ruined. And it's the same thing for a lot of bows that have potential, cool stats. They might even have some fun gimmicky ability like magic bolts or some sort of idea like that. But due to the amount of damage the bow itself rolls with, they're just never gonna be any good outside of like level 25 or whatever. If bows just had more damage, I think the build potential for this class would be so much better. Anywho, let's enjoy the last pack here. Oh, that was fun. Always good damage. It's also kind of a little fun tool. If you didn't know about it, when you're spraying your arrows, you can either point the mouse cursor far away or you can have it closer to your body. A lot of people do know about that, but it can be pretty good for certain packs. Anywho, I guess here at the end, I kind of just want to test a little Strafe versus guided arrow. If I can even... So this is pretty much guided arrow, or Strafe even, and this is guided arrow. Granted, I don't have Strafe maxed right now, but still, I don't really find value in Strafe. It's kind of a sad thing, because Strafe does look pretty cool as well. You know, I don't know why it became such a heated topic in general in the community for years, which ability was the best one. The first build that I ever did for Amazon was actually a bow build. I think I got up to a point where I had like a full Mamina set or whatever. It was cool back then, but I never understood why people even liked Strafe back then. And if you Google, you can see that it's such a heated topic. So let's do that at the end. So as you can see, the community is just never gonna agree on this. This is a thread at this top page from 2006, and we can go all the way back to something like 2011, etc. 2015 on Reddit. This is the path of Diablo, fair enough, but still, it's just so endless. People are never gonna agree on this, and I'm sure a lot of people also gonna disagree on my views in general for that. But overall, I just cannot think that multiple shot is worse, or Strafe is better than multiple shot. But yeah, I don't really think I need to make it much longer than that. Of course, a Yavason that is well built, such as my own, go watch it if you don't want to. You know, if you're just into the best of the best, make a Yavason. There's no point in making a bow Amazon. It's so expensive, it takes so long time to get the gear. It's so hard to trade for certain parts of gear as well, especially like the inventory sucks ass to get. But yeah, everyone just has ready available decent Yavason gear in ladder, non-ladder, whatever. Like, it's easy to trade for these items for Yavason, not so much for bow Amazon. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and as always, have a good one.